Hello everyone and welcome to a new IK video. This is Ken from 49, and in this video guys I want to talk about lore talents, everything you need to know, every talent explained in details, how exactly does it work and how exactly does it affect your fights. However, before we begin, I would like to introduce you guys to AppGallery. It is the same campaign that I've mentioned before. It is an app store where you can download games and shop cheaper in mobile games. If you have access to any Android device, any Huawei phone, or you use emulators, you can download App Gallery and anyone can use the promotion. All you have to do is just download the store and find the game you're playing and download it from App Gallery directly. The progress of the game can be preserved by building an account, as example, Facebook. The whole process shouldn't take more than few minutes. And remember, users can claim the codes based on their payment, and this is an option that is available only in App Gallery. And they can get up to 1,620 euro free coupons every month, and it equals to 16% count. And you can check the details on this page that I'm showing you right now. And if you have any question, if you have anything that you would like to ask about, you can visit Discord. I'll leave the link to the Discord in the description, and you can ask the crew there, and they will be delighted to help you guys out. Anyway, this is all about the Huawei App Gallery. Let's get back to our video. Alright, so in this video, I want to talk about lore talents. How exactly does it work and how does it affect your fights? And before we begin, I would like to mention a couple of things that each march in IK could use different talents. For example, uh, shadow marches or fire marches, since they count a lot on magical damage. Water marches as well, they gonna need this talent here, which is clutch shot. It increases the immortal's crit value by 30%. However, if you're running a holy march, if you're running a wine march that needs or counts a lot on dodge, they will need to use this talent here, which is Flying Shadow, that increases the dodge value by up to 30%. This is just an example of how and why each march is using different talents. So let's begin, and I'm gonna explain only the immortals, only the important lord talents here that could actually make a difference in PvP. So I just explained Clutch Shot and Flying Shadow. This one here simply increases the crit value, which means that they will have a higher chance of dealing more critical hits. This one here increases the dodge value. That means that you will have a higher chance of dodging the enemy physical attacks. Alright, this is a defensive or an attack talent that you can use. For example, first strike here before battle deals equal to 5% of your max HP to a random enemy immortal in the back row, which means that this talent here will target a random immortal in the back row and it will deal a 5% damage that is maximum of your HP, which means this talent could be huge against people who are using mages or counting a lot on damage in the back line. For example, if you use this talent against a fire march or a water march and it happened that it targeted Merlin or Empress Wu, this will be huge for you in the rest of the fight and might actually be one of the main reasons that you win this fight. But if Steel simply decreases the damage that you receive by your garrisons by 10%, one of the most broken talents that you can use in defense, actually, if it's not the strongest. This one here simply reduces the troops killed by 10%. It decreases the death rate by 10%. And this one here reduces the territory relocation by up to 20%. Advance rank advancement, of course, it doubles the amount of honor that you can get. This one here, last stand, I explained it in so many of my videos, and it sacrifices 10% of your castle prosperity to increase the damage dealt by your units by 8%. This one here fully heals all the wounded troops in case that you lost the battle. Now, these talents here are both so important and are both so strong, depends on the mark that you're using. Domination here during the battle reduces the physical and magical defense of all enemies by 5%. This is an offense talent that works in most marches. Either you're using a physical team or a magical team. It works both ways. I personally prefer to use domination here since I would like to be more on the offense. So if you're using a water march, you know water marches doesn't usually is not usually a defensive march, same as fire, same as shadow. I recommend using this talent here since it is gonna provide you with more damage. Now, this talent here, Frighten, it reduces the immortal skill damage by 5%. And not just the immortal skill, and by this I mean the ultimate skill of the immortal. I mean all the skills that the immortal is using. And I'm 100% sure about this time because I asked the developers and they replied to me that this skill here reduces all the skills damage that they are being used. For example, if an immortal is using annihilation, it decreases the annihilation's damage. If an immortal is using cleave, it also reduces the cleave's damage. This is why this talent here is so strong if you're using a defensive march, maybe such as holy or earth marches. This is gonna be helpful so much for you. This is an offensive talent. It works the exact way as this talent here. And however, this talent here deals a damage that is equal to 7.5% of your max HP to a random enemy unit. So this one here targets one of the back row immortals and it deals only 5%. However, this talent here deals 7.5 of your maximum HP and it targets a random enemy immortal in the back row as well. So I believe this is so much stronger than First Strike. Sneak attack is so much better. Anyway, this one here, this is a defensive talent that could work for if you're using a march that counts a lot on the back row damage. It increases damage dealt by immortals in the back row by 10% with an additional 20% in case that they were using an enemy or fighting an enemy with an ambush tactics. And with an ambush tactics means that they have this one of these talents here, either first strike or sneak attack or this one here. This sign here means this is an ambush tactic. All right, so this is for Might of Longbow, and it works very well for Merlin, Empress Wu, Jenkins, any immortals in the back row that deals so much damage. This talent is gonna be so helpful for them. Now for Al Guardian, this talent here is so important for mages such as Merlin, Empress Wu, any kind of immortal that actually counts on energy. This is why this talent here is gonna be so helpful for immortals. Actually, 90% of the immortals. So this is why most of the time I prefer using this talent here over this one. This one here works only for either earth marches, wind marches, or the mixed wind earth marches because it only increases the immortals attack speed and doesn't actually work so well for mages or some attack immortals. However, this talent here works most of the time. However, since I'm using my mixed wind earth march right now and we're in the middle of kill events, I'm using this talent here because I'm only using my main march during important fights. Meditation here, it grants random immortal in the front row full energy. So if you're using a water march, grants either Atella or maybe Harold full energy at the very beginning of the fight. It could be very helpful on an immortal such as Atella because using silence on your enemy at the first second of the fight could be very helpful. Also, same for Hippolyta or any other immortal who's using energy. Maybe Siegfried as well. This talent here is so strong. This is also an attack talent. It increases the energy regain speed of two random immortals by 30%. It could be very helpful for water marches earth marches. No, not earth. It water marches, fire marches, and maybe shadow marches as well, since they count a lot on energy. However, this talent here is not gonna be very useful for holy marches or earth marches or wine marches or the mixed wine earth march, because these marches here doesn't count on energy that much. So this talent here is just for maybe mages and some attack immortals who use energy. Energy burst here, this one here is a defensive talent. It increases the energy regain speed of immortals by 10%, and it's actually all the immortals. And when fighting an enemy unit with an ambush tactics, it reduces the enemy energy regain by 10%. So if you're using this in a defense and an enemy attacked you with an ambush tactic such as this, it also reduces their energy regain by 10%. Now, Strong Will and Target Lock. This is a defensive talent here that increases the resilience rate by 30%. And by increasing the resilience rate is gonna reduce the chances of your march receiving critical damage. It works so well versus fire marches and shadow marches and sometimes water marches if they count on critical as well. However, the other one here increases the accuracy rate by 30%, which is so important for any team that is counting a lot on physical damage, such as Holy, Earth, sometimes Wind Marches, and of course the Mixed Wind Earth March that I'm using. However, it is only helpful versus people who are using the Dodge talent, and also they are using the skill Misleading on their March, because we have a lot of sources for accuracy right now, such as either Caution or the artifacts or the accuracy value that you can get from the Dragon Energy nodes as well. So this talent here is not effective as it used to be, because our Immortals accuracy rate is naturally higher than usual at this point of the game. So I recommend using this at all times, since there are a lot of people who are using critical damage as a main source of damage in their marches. Either shadow, water, fire marches, they all use critical damage and they are all very strong fight. This one here, I prefer to use this talent because when attacking enemy territory, it reduces the number of wounded troops turning into seriously wounded troops by 40%. And this is very helpful if you're losing a lot of troops, and you get 5 stacks as well. So it's gonna be helpful to when it comes to saving troops. This one here, when attacking enemy territory, you no longer need to destroy the city wall. Sometimes you attack an enemy and their march uh, barely loses the fight, and I mean, you barely win the fight, and there is so little troops in your march remaining to attack the wall and actually destroy it. However, by using this talent here, you won't even need to destroy the wall. You're just gonna just skip this step, and you will win the fight automatically once you defeat their garrison. This one here is a very important talent as well. When defending against an enemy attack, automatically deactivates the enemy meditation talents, which is this one here. I'm not sure if it's specifically this talent here or any attack talents. I haven't really actually used it. Uh, it also increases the back row immortals energy regain speed by 10%. So not sure if this also procs once it deactivates the attack talent or the meditation talent as it has been mentioned here. I think I'll need to ask about this just to make sure how exactly it works. However, these are all the important talents that you need to use, guys. Depends on which march that you're using at the moment. For example, I'm using water. This is why I'm using clutch shot. Also, I'm using this since my Wind Earth March is my main march currently, and I'm using Body of Steel. And if I ran out of Body of Steel, I usually exchange talents and choose First Strike instead. And I'm using this because it's the right option during kill events. You need to save as much as possible. I'm also using this for owner. I'm using this because it is an offensive talent. This is a defensive talent. And sneak attack is one of the strongest attack talents that you can use in IK. Also the attack speed talent for my mixed wind earth march. This one here because it might actually work on my Zenobia or Ember can, which is gonna be nice. However, this line here only works on energy, and since I don't really need energy for my main march, which is either uh, Alex or Hani, so I'm using this one here to have a chance to work on either my Zenobia or Emberken. I'm using this for critical damage. I don't wanna receive much critical damage. So this is a defensive talent. I'm not using this because I'm using Kurchin on my main march here. So it's kind of compensate what kind of aura I'm using. This will be all for this video, guys. Don't forget to visit Discord app gallery in order to receive the support that you need. Also, don't forget to check out the website and the campaign page. You're gonna find all the information that you need here, either here or in Discord. This will be all for this video. Thank you so much for watching and have a wonderful day.